Ciao dall'Italia! Do you really want to learn some Italian? So stay with me, I'm gonna teach you some useful Italian phrases right now, live from Italy. Okay, let's start with some phrases I've prepared for you. Ciao, come stai? Ciao, come stai? Which means hello, how are you? And you can answer ciao, sto molto bene. Ciao, sto molto bene, which means hello, I'm really good, I'm very well. Ok? Un'altra domanda molto importante è dove vivi? Where do you live? Dove vivi? Dove vivi? E puoi rispondere, per esempio, vivo a New York, ok? Negli Stati Uniti. Ok, for example, vivo a New York negli Stati Uniti. Obviously, Stati Uniti means Stati Uniti d'America, ma noi abbreviamo questa parola. Quindi, dove vivi? Vivo a New York, negli Stati Uniti. I live in New York, in the United States. Ok, fantastico. Un'altra domanda importante. Cosa fai nella vita? Cosa fai nella vita? What do you do in your life, literally? Okay? I know that sometimes it cannot make good sense in English, but it makes very well good sense in Italian. Cosa fai nella vita? Lavoro come architetto. Lavoro come architetto, which means I work as an architect. Oppure sono un architetto. Okay, eventually you can even find sono architetto, like very easy, I'm architect, literally. But in this case we will say sono un architetto, oppure sono architetto. Quindi, cosa fai nella vita? Lavoro come architetto, oppure sono un architetto. Oppure, what I say many times means or, ok? Molto semplice. Un'altra domanda, per esempio, è qual è la tua nazionalità? As you can see, I will use eventually this kind of signature, over the letters, which is the tonality. It indicates that you have to stress on that letter, ok? Tonica si chiama, ok? La vocale tonica. Qual è la tua nazionalità? Qual è la tua nazionalità? Which is your nationality? E la risposta più semplice è, per esempio, sono americano. Now, if you are a male, you would say sono americano. Sono americano. If you are a female, se sei una donna, puoi dire sono americana. Sono americana. And why we do this? Perché facciamo questo? Perché in italiano è molto importante coordinare il genere e il numero con le parole e con gli aggettivi. Per esempio, sono un ragazzo simpatico, which is I'm a funny guy, ok? Sono un ragazzo simpatico. If I use with O like this, it means generally, but not always, but in the main cases, that I am a man, ok? And singular, ok? Quindi, sono un ragazzo simpatico. Sono una ragazza simpatica. Instead, is for female and singular. So, here we have a main rule, even if it's not always the same, because we have some exceptions, but we can say that for male and singular, the noun or even the adjective, we use the O. Quindi, ragazzo simpatico, ragazzo simpatico, oppure ragazza simpatica, which ends with A. In italiano, A. Quindi, continuiamo. Siamo dei ragazzi simpatici e poi siamo delle ragazze simpatiche, Okay? Now, how you can see, I'm just trying to give you some easy tip to understand how you can deal with adjective and nouns. But no problem, we are gonna study this and focus on it in the future. But just to have you an idea that we need, okay, to respect those rules. Okay, so I cannot say if I'm a male, sono una ragazza simpatica, because obviously you're gonna look at me like, oh, really, a very beautiful girl, but I'm not. Okay, so sono una ragazza simpatica. Sono una ragazza simpatica. If I'm a male, or I mean, singular, ragazzo simpatica. But what happens when we are more males? Ragazzi simpatici. Siamo dei ragazzi simpatici. Instead, if we are girls or a group of girls, we can say siamo delle ragazze simpatiche. Siamo delle ragazze simpatiche. We are funny girls or some funny girls. Ok, quindi generally we can say that for singular masculine we use O. For singular feminine, we use the termination A, in Italiano A. If we are male plurals, many people, we use E, and we use E, of course, in English it would be I, but we pronounce it in silent E. We use it even if we are a group of male and females, okay? And if we are only a group of females, we will use E. As you can see, not only we change the termination of nouns and adjectives, but even we use different articles. In Italiano, articoli. In questo caso, in this case, we are using an articolo indeterminativo, okay? Because it would be like okay? I am an happy, or for example, I am a funny guy, or a funny, funny guy would be perfect. And here, I am a funny girl. Now, which is the main difference? You would say a guy, a girl, but we need to change it according with the status of the gender and the number. So, un ragazzo, which would be like a guy, un ragazzo, una ragazza, a girl, ok? Siamo dei ragazzi simpatici, ok? Would be like we're funny guys, okay? You don't even say anything at all. Or you can say we are some funny guys, okay? I will go ahead and eventually in the future we'll study and focus on it. But this is the main rule, but we have some exception. We will see in the future, okay? Now, a very common sense thing. You would say that in English, you will see you have something like action or reaction. Now, a very easy thing to remember. When you have this in English, it's very easily that we translate it like azione, reazione. For example, motivation will become motivazione. Now, why I'm stressing about this? Because it's very useful when it comes to create new vocabulary. Eventually you will be stuck, you don't know how to say something. Remember that many words which in English ends with a shown, reaction, motivation, action, it's very easy that are the exact same in Italian, but only you change shown with azione, okay? Reaction with azione. So basically, action, azione. Action, azione. Motivation, motivazione. So this eventually will help you very much. Now, let's go ahead with some useful stuff. For example, il verbo voglio. You know that we have many difficulties when it comes to conjugate verbs, and I want to make you really comfortable about this. So I will teach you 3 verbs, which are the verbs volere, potere è dovere. These verbs are so-called modals verb, I verbi modali, and they permit to have a verb which is only at the indicative, at the infinitive, so you won't need to know many verbs, how to conjugate many verbs. For example, voglio, which is the first singular for the indicative present of the verb volere, il verbo volere, you can use it like this. Io voglio mangiare una pizza. Io, which means I, voglio means want, so of course is already conjugated. This voglio, posso, and devo are the first personal noun. I mean, the first personal, the first person of the indicative present tense of the verb you have here on the right. Okay, quindi io devo is I must, or I have to. Io posso is I can. Io voglio is I want. So basically, we don't need, as in English as well, I don't need to follow these verbs with other conjugated verb. I can use whatever verb at the infinitive. For example, voglio mangiare una pizza, oppure voglio dormire, oppure voglio leggere. This is very useful and powerful, because if you don't know, and you are going tomorrow to Italy, you don't know how to conjugate many verbs, you can only learn how to conjugate voglio, I mean the verb volere, the present tense, io voglio, tu vuoi, lui vuole, and I will write down for you, and you can use posso, like I can, quindi io posso, tu puoi, lui può, e il verbo devo, io devo, tu devi, lui deve. In this way, you only need to know the three conjugation at the present tense that are the most used ones, and after that you can use the verb or whatever verb you find within the vocabulary on the dictionary at the infinitive tense. So basically, you don't need even to know how to conjugate mangiare, dormire, leggere. You only need to know how to conjugate with the first, the second person, voglio, posso, devo, etc. So, io voglio mangiare una pizza, which means I wanna, literally, I want to eat a pizza. Io voglio dormire perché sono stanco, which means I want to sleep because I'm tired. I want to. We don't need, as you, to use any to preposition. Okay, just because dormire or mangiare, for the presence of the ending ire, are, or ere, which has the main three conjugation in Italian, which is are, the first conjugation, ere, the second one, and ire, the third, we know that is straight away an infinitive. So we don't need to put any to or something to understand it. So, io voglio dormire. Io voglio mangiare. You don't need to know how to conjugate dormire. Io dormo, tu dormi, lui dorme. You just say, io voglio dormire. Io voglio mangiare. So, io voglio andare a casa, which means I want to go home. Io voglio andare a casa. Io voglio cucinare la pasta, which means I want to cook the pasta, okay? Io voglio cucinare la pasta. Now, something a little bit about phonetic. I know that voglio, the group ye, is a difficult one to pronounce, but don't really get frustrated if you don't know how to do it now, because we are going to cover this problem, okay? We can overcome together this problem, and eventually in the future I will also make some live classes with you, so we can really improve your pronunciation. Ye, 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 voglio, voglio. Io voglio mangiare una pizza. 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 Voglio mangiare una pizza. Now, as you get used to the meaning of the verb, of the conjugation of the verb volere, voglio, you will understand, because it's different than English, you will understand that is io and not you or he, she, is I. So in Italian, many times you will see that we don't even use subject when is a personal noun, like I, a personal pronoun, like I, you, he, she. We don't use that much, as is implicit that voglio is for the first person, I, singular person, okay? Quindi we can say, and I suggest you to say as you learn, that voglio is for the first singular person, just voglio mangiare una pizza. So you can avoid redundancy. Voglio mangiare una pizza. I wanna eat a pizza. Voglio dormire perché sono stanco. I wanna sleep because I'm tired. Voglio andare a casa. I wanna go home. Voglio cucinare la pasta. I wanna cook the pasta. As we go along with this, we can even introduce the first singular person of il verbo potere. Potere, which means can. Quindi io posso giocare a calcio, okay? Which means I can play at football, okay? I'm able to play football. Io posso giocare a calcio. And the very nice, interesting thing about Italian is that we can easily form interrogations with the same verb. We don't need, as you in English, for example, the do stuff, not the dude, the do stuff, like do you. We have a nice thing in Italy when kids know how to learn English, and sometimes people say, no, English is very easy, you only need to say something do, like do you pasta, do you spaghetti, but of course it doesn't work like that. But just remember that we don't have anything else that intonation to understand that we are talking about an interrogation, a question. And of course we use the interrogation punctuation, which is this one, of course. So if I just change intonation, I can say posso giocare a calcio. Posso giocare a calcio. Posso giocare a calcio, which means may I play at football? Posso giocare a calcio con voi, which means may I play at football with you? Voi is you plural, okay? Even here we have a difference. We have tu, which is the second singular person, and we have you, but in the plural, which is voi. So voi, you need to learn two second person, one for the singular, tu, and one for the plural, voi, okay? And we have, of course, different conjugation. So let's conjugate the first, the present tense of the verb potere, okay? Potere, which means can or sometimes may, okay? So let's see. Io posso, tu puoi, lui, lei, which is he or she, può, noi possiamo, voi potete, loro possono. Okay? So have I can, you can, he, she can, we can, you can, and they can. Of course you can. Okay? You can learn Italian. Quindi io posso, tu puoi, lui può o lei può, noi possiamo, voi potete, loro possono. Phonetic annotation here. We stress very much on double consonants. Okay, so you cannot say possono, 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 s. You have to double the sound when you have double consonant. Possono, possono. Io posso, non posso. Posso, because eventually if you change the stress on the word or on the double consonant, it will become another word, okay? So, io posso, tu puoi, lui, lei può, noi possiamo, voi potete e loro possono. Let's try now to make some noise here. I mean, create some useful words. Per esempio, io posso cantare molto bene, which means I can sing very well. Posso cantare molto bene. But now if I want to change it and I want to make it sound like a question, I can just say posso cantare al vostro concerto, which means may I sing in your concert or at your concert. Imagine that we have a group of friends who play guitars and piano, and they are going to make a show, a public show, so we can say posso cantare al vostro concerto. Posso cantare al vostro concerto. Oppure, cambiando il verbo, changing the verb, posso andare a dormire. Posso andare a dormire. Now, the very useful thing about these modals verb, I mean, I verbi modali, potere, volere, e dovere, is that here it is easy. You don't even know how to conjugate the verb andare. Io vado, tu vai, lui va, noi andiamo. It's very stressful because at the first lesson you really cannot use all of those conjugations. But now, eventually, only studying and understanding the use of posso, devo, and voglio, you only need to go on the dictionary and say, okay, the verb to go is andare. You will find it like that at the infinitive level, so you don't even need to conjugate at this moment. You just say posso, because io posso, andare, to go, a dormire. Now, a very useful thing about the verbo andare, il verbo andare, is that you can put the preposition a, in italiano la preposizione a, and just make it follow with another infinitive. So, posso andare a dormire. Dormire literally means to sleep at the infinitive level. You don't need to conjugate even though that one. So, posso andare a dormire, posso andare a mangiare, which means may I go to eat, oppure, for example, if you wanna invite a girl, you can say possiamo andare a mangiare, which, as you see here, is we. So, may we or can we go to eat? Okay, in this case, this is the preposition, which is a conjunction between the two verbs at infinitive, like go to sleep, go to eat. Ok, quindi possiamo andare a mangiare, possiamo andare a dormire, possiamo andare, for example, al cinema, ok? Or, if we want to start to use il verbo volere, we can even say vuoi andare al cinema? So those verbs, without even the use of do or something strange like in English, you only need to know, and I will introduce to the full conjugation of the present tense of volere, potere, dovere, but you only need to know those little conjugations at the present level, and after you put the infinitive and, for example, some following like al cinema or al ristorante, for example. And to construct a question, you only need the same and a change in the intonation and here the interrogation punctuation. So, vuoi andare al ristorante? Vuoi andare al ristorante? Which means, do you want to go to the restaurant? Is much easier. Vuoi andare al ristorante? Vuoi andare al cinema? Vuoi andare al supermercato, which is the supermarket? Vuoi andare al supermercato? Do you want to go to the supermarket? Oppure, vuoi accompagnarmi al supermercato? No, if you want to know how to say to my company, to come with me or something like that, you go on the dictionary and you will find that an easy way to translate at the infinitive level is accompagnare. Accompagnare, which is to make company to company, not in the business, okay? I mean, to come with me. So, vuoi accompagnarmi al supermercato? Do you want to come with me to the supermarket? Do you want to make company? Quindi, vuoi accompagnarmi al supermercato? Oppure, vuoi giocare con me alla PlayStation? Okay, for example, which means, do you want to play with me to the PlayStation? Okay, vuoi giocare? Giocare means play. So I really invite you. Now I will write everything for you down. I mean the conjugation, but I invite you to go on the dictionary and make a lot of practice. I mean, you need to find on the dictionary, or you can even use a translator, the direct translation to the infinitive. From, for example, to go, to eat, to sleep, to play, to see, to watch, to read, whatever, and see that there is a little simple pattern there, because the infinitive in Italian always end the same. So, vuoi giocare, vuoi cantare con me, which means, do you want to sing with me? Vuoi parlare con me? Imagine you want to know an Italian girl or an Italian boy, you just need to say vuoi parlare con me? Vuoi parlare con me? Which is easy. Do you want to speak with me? Okay? Or do you want to talk with me? Con means with, okay? Vuoi parlare con me? Parlare, cantare, giocare, they are all the same, with the same ending, because they all belong to the first conjugation group. So, if you go to sing on a dictionary, you will find cantare. You just put that way after the verb with the modal verb. Vuoi, puoi, devi, or voglio, posso, devo, which has the three modal verbs that I'm going to write for you right now, and it's easy, okay? Now, we first introduce il verbo potere, ok? Quindi, io posso, tu puoi, lui, lei può, noi possiamo, voi potete e loro possono. Io posso, I can, tu puoi, you can, lui può, he can, lei può, she can, noi possiamo, we can, voi potete, you can is the plural one, loro possono, they can. Okay? So this is il verbo, the present tense, presente, del verbo potere al presente. Okay? Now let's go and see how it works. Il verbo dovere, which is the only one we didn't make practice right now. Quindi il verbo dovere, which means I have to or I must, it depends. Quindi io devo, tu devi, lui, lei deve, noi dobbiamo, voi dovete, loro devono. Now, which is the meaning? I must or I have to, you must, is she, has to or must, we have to or we must, you must, they must, okay? Or they have to. It doesn't matter in Italian because it's the same. We don't have this difference, okay? You have, but we don't. So it's easier. Io devo, tu devi, lui deve o lei deve, noi dobbiamo, voi dovete, loro devono. Now, if I have or you have to do something, it will be important to express. So you only go to the vocabulary and dictionary once you just learn how to say those 6 little things with the present tense of the verb dovere. You can express everything in your life, like io devo mangiare perché ho fame. Now use perché, which means because you can really make the sense of what you're saying. You can really use a complete sentence like that, only using only by using perché. So you give an explanation. Io devo mangiare perché ho fame. Which means I have to eat because I'm hungry. Or hungry. I'm hungry. Okay? This is always a confusion for an Italian standpoint. So, tu devi andare a dormire perché è tardi. Which means you have to go to sleep because it's late. Imagine you are a parent and you want to say to your kid, go home. So, you can say, devi andare a dormire perché è tardi. Devi andare a dormire perché è tardi. Now, you know that you only need to know devi, which means you. Devi, second singular person of the present tense. Devi andare. Andare is just to go infinitive, easy. It ends in are, quindi devi andare a, which is the conjunction we use after andare to conjunct with the other verb, which is dormire, which of course is an infinitive as well, so you don't need to stress about conjugation at all. You only need to know how to conjugate these 6 forms. So tu devi andare a dormire perché è tardi, because it's late. Oppure devi andare a mangiare perché è tardi. It's like you need to eat because it's late, so after that you can go sleeping. Lui o lei deve studiare perché deve superare gli esami, which means he or she must study or has to study because she or he must overcome successfully, of course, the examinations, okay, or exams. So basically, deve studiare. Studiare means to study at the infinitive level as well, so it's really easy. Deve studiare perché, again, deve superare gli esami. So you can really make a lot of sense with just knowing a little verb, which is dovere, as well as the other 2 ones. Quindi deve studiare, oppure lei deve studiare, oppure deve rimanere, anzi no, per esempio Mario deve pagarmi una cena, o deve pagarmi means to pay, oppure deve offrirmi una cena in occasione del nostro anniversario, which means Mario has to offer me a dinner in occasion of our anniversary, okay? So Mario deve offrirmi una cena in occasione del nostro anniversario. Or just to simplificate, we can say for, quindi per, ok? We can even say just per, so offrirmi una cena per il nostro anniversario. As you can see, if I change the preposition or I can change something, I have to, of course, change even the eventually l'articolo. In questo caso l'articolo determinativo. But at this point, it doesn't matter. We only know how to use those 3 modals verb. Even if I'm using stupid examples, I know I accept it because my creativity doesn't work very well at this moment, but I want you to know that it's very easy. You don't have to get frustrated because you first, in order to say 2 or 3 sentences, you need to know all the grammar in the word, all the conjugation, all the verbs. No way. Just learn with me these ones. Io posso, tu puoi, lui, lei può, noi possiamo, voi potete, loro possono, which is the present tense of the verbo potere. And after that, just make a beautiful plus and put whatever you want, like posso mangiare, posso dormire, puoi leggere un libro, per esempio, posso prenotare un tavolo per due persone. Imagine yourself at the restaurant. So let's make it interesting if you want to go make a trip to Italy or you want to just visit Italy. Posso prenotare un tavolo per due persone, which means may I book a table for two people at the restaurant, of course. Posso prenotare un tavolo per due persone. Prenotare is reserve or book. Posso prenotare un tavolo per due persone? Or you can, for example, say, posso prenotare una camera per due persone. Imagine that you are calling to a hotel in Italy, and you say, may I book a room for two people? So you just need to say, posso prenotare, which means may I reserve, may I book. Posso prenotare una camera, which means a room, per due, which means for two people, persone. Posso prenotare una camera per due persone, posso prenotare un tavolo per due persone, oppure posso chiederle una informazione, which means may ask you an information. This is a polite way. That's why we have here le, which is like something that you don't use in English. It's a kind of giving to the person we're in front of, like the he or she formal way. So, posso chiederle una informazione? May I ask you an information. Quindi chiedere means ask or to make a question. Quindi posso chiedere un'informazione, oppure another question in Italy. Dove posso trovare un ristorante qui vicino? So it's really easy, as you can see here, okay? Dove, which means where. Dove posso trovare, I'm sorry, okay. Dove posso trovare un ristorante qui vicino? The literal translation is where, dove, where may I or can I find, trovare, find is to find, a restaurant here, close. So close is like vicino. Imagine that you are really hungry and you need to eat, okay? For example, devo mangiare perché ho fame. So this would be the first sentence, okay? Which is devo mangiare perché ho fame. Is I have to, devo, or I must eat. In this case, I have to, because it's not that you choose to, okay? I have to eat because I'm hungry. Devo mangiare perché ho fame. And the next question you make to the person is, dove posso trovare un ristorante qui vicino? Dove posso trovare un ristorante qui vicino? Where may I find, trovare, a restaurant here close? Okay? And eventually you can even say, dove posso trovare un albergo qui vicino? Which means, where may I find a hotel? Quindi albergo, a hotel, qui vicino, here close. Okay, so as you can see, you can use it like crazy, and it's a kind of magical. You have like 3 magical verbs you can use with everything, and you can even make questions, make affirmations, and you don't need to know any verbs conjugation at all, only dovere, potere, and volere. This is a quick method to introduce yourself to the Italian wonderful language, and I hope you find it very useful. I will only end with il verbo volere. We made il verbo potere, io posso, and we also made il verbo dovere, okay, here, and now I make for you il verbo volere. Io voglio, which is I want, tu vuoi, you want, lui, lei vuole, which is he, she wants, noi vogliamo, voi volete, loro vogliono. Quindi, io voglio, I want, tu vuoi, you want, lui vuole, he wants, lei vuole, she wants, noi vogliamo, we want, voi volete, you, the plural person, volete, you want, loro vogliono, vogliono as they want. And even here, io voglio mangiare, io voglio leggere un libro. What do? You go on the vocabulary, you say in English, I want to read a book. Oh my God, how can I say that? Oh, I want. Because here it's very easy. Whatever you want to say, whatever you want to express in your life, everything has to do with or I want or I need. For example, in this case, I want, I have to, or I can. And of course, I will also teach you in the future, I need, for example, which is, or I believe. But the main purpose of the today tutorial is to let you know that you have a great giant power within you and you can use it straight away. You can use it right now. For example, whatever you want to express is very easily convertible to or even I want or an even I have to or I can or may I and something like that. So you have a huge power because you only need at that point to go on the vocabulary and find the infinitive version of the verb you want to put after io voglio or io posso, io devo, I want, I have to, or I can, and you only need to put the infinitive verb. For example, to read is leggere. You don't even need to put any compensation here, any preposition like compensation. No, you just say io voglio leggere. And this is a perfect, wonderful phrase, very correct. Okay, io voglio leggere un libro, and you only go and you say a book. I'm gonna say book. Book is libro, and you create a wonderful sentence like this, and it is applicable to everything you want to say and to every action you wanna do. Io voglio leggere un libro. Io voglio mangiare la pasta, which is I wanna eat pasta. Io voglio cucinare gli spaghetti, which is I wanna cook spaghettis. Io voglio dormire perché sono stanco. Io voglio andare al cinema, I wanna go to the cinema. Io voglio andare al supermercato. Io voglio andare a visitare Roma, which is I wanna go to visit Rome. I wanna go to visit Rome. Io voglio andare a visitare Roma. And remember that you can formulate bigger sentences as you put I in Italiano, the preposition, after il verbo andare. And you, for example, put visitare, or voglio andare a visitare il Colosseo, which is a wonderful monument. You really have to go in Rome, the Colosseum. Quindi io voglio andare a visitare il Colosseo. Once you get used that voglio is for first person singular, you just say voglio andare a visitare il Colosseo. And you can even say vuoi venire con me, which is a question of the second singular person, and you're saying basically, do you want to come with me? Is I want to go to visit the Colosseum. Do you want to come with me? Quindi voglio andare a visitare il Colosseo. Vuoi venire con me? Vuoi venire con me? Or for example, voglio andare a mangiare la pasta. La pasta. Vuoi venire con me? Do you want to come with me? Okay, so it's really powerful. Just go to the vocabulary and say, how can I say to come? And if you have a good vocabulary, you will find not only the translation or of to come means venire. You will also see some interesting suggestion like come with me, come and visit me, something like different suggestions, and you can apply those. So it's very useful for your next trip in Italy. You can be like, you can defend yourself. You can have a sense of empowerment by using these techniques. I have many other techniques to offer you, and now I will switch to the camera so you can see here again. Okay. So I really hope you found this video interesting, because if you tell me, for example, using the comments below the video, or you just subscribe to my channel, or you like this video, you just telling me, Marco, go ahead, I like this kind of tutorials, I want to learn more. And I will be really happy to convert this show in a common show, like weekly or even daily. Okay, so please let me know what you think. Hopefully with just this 1 hour tutorial, you really understood that you can speak Italian like easy and immediately by only studying those 3 verbs conjugation at the present tense, okay? And after that, you only put verbs at the infinitive using some little preposition and some following like perché, which means because, so you can introduce the motivation, and I will guide you through many other options you have, because it's a kind of Lego, it's a kind of construction. We are just settling the basement, we are just putting our basement for the building we are going to build together, and you will be able to speak fluently in Italian. But now at the moment, I'm going to ask you something. Do your homework. I mean, take the time to find on the vocabulary, and by using properly those 3 verbs, the modal verb, potere, volere, and dovere, and try to formulate phrases and pronounce it loudly, because your mind needs to hear that you are pronouncing. So your phonetic, your pronunciation will become better, will get better. So please apply those rules and create questions, even if you don't really need those, but it's fun. It's really fun, and I would be happy if you can create questions with those verbs, or even just comments with phrases you created, like in the comment sections here below. You can create your sentences and questions by applying what I told you right now. Okay, so for example, I wanna eat this, I wanna sleep, I have to study because, or for example, I want to go to visit Italy, I want to do this or that. Whatever. I love to hear from you. And of course, if eventually you are in a hurry and you need to speak Italian right now, and you need to have me like your personal instructor, I can even instruct you and help you and guide you by video conferencing me and you alone. So I will be applying everything I know in order to let you speak, even since the first lesson, directly with me, with my personal help. And you can do that by visiting marconisida.com. You go on marconisida.com and you just apply to become one of my personal and exclusive clients, who can really benefit from my experience and who can really learn step by step with me, along with our video conferencing alone, me and you, and I will be helping you with pronunciation, with formulating phrases. But it won't be a grammar stuff. It won't be like a very annoying and, I mean, really stupid lessons are as many traditional people do, okay? It will be like really concentrated and focused on your needs, on your action needs. For example, you really need to make that contract with an Italian company. You need, for example, to to speak with your friend in Italy. You need to buy a house in Italy. So you need, for example, to speak with those people. You have a purpose on why you need to speak Italian. So we can focus on those kinds of situations. And since the very first lesson, we can really create your pattern to success, and you will be able to formulate, express, communicate, speak, and pronounce those phrases, those sentences, and you will be the owner of your personal future in Italy or with the Italian company. So it's really funny, it's really powerful, it's really straight to the point, it's really practice, and I hope you enjoy it. So contact me on marcoinizia.com, and if you like this video, just put a comment below, and like, and subscribe to my channel. Ciao dall'Italia, ti auguro una vita meravigliosa e piena di allegria. I wish you a wonderful life and full of happiness. Ciao da Marco, ciao ciao!